What's up everyone, Kokomoju here with another Sub-Rogue video commentary. This was a 20 Spires run that I did with my DPS teammates and then a pugged tank and healer. It is Fortified Inspiring Week, so we want to sap that Inspiring guy because we want to be able to stop as many of these Castigator casts as we can. They're going to put out a really nasty dot, and then also we have this Forsworn Doctrine that's going to be healing up everyone. So one of my main goals here in this poll is to stop as many casts as I can. And this is like more or less like straight up a AoE rotation pull for me. I think one thing I could do here that would be really beneficial is actually putting my flag on the Goliath to get a little extra funnel damage into him. But I know that we have a lot of single target dam with our Warlock and Enhancement Shaman. So I'm more focused on just trying to kill the casters, like the other casters that people aren't going to be prioing. And then that's going to let us get this Vanguard in here as well. The other main thing that you want to watch out for in this pull is that these Vanguards do this sweeping blow. If you look in the bottom left, you can see our poor Enhancement Shaman has been learning melee DPS for the past couple of weeks now. Is getting hit by a lot of these sweeping blows, and so your positioning in these pulls is like really crucial. And I think that right there, I ended up proccing my cheat death, and I think what happened was I got hit by a Dark Lash and also ended up getting the dot from the Castigator applied to me, and our Shaman was pretty quick to dispel, but it's definitely... Oh, I also got hit by a sweeping blow, so you can see it. I mean, it does a ton of damage on these 20 keys. Oh, that was kind of fun. I have this Grim Codex trinket, which does a lot of shadow damage. It ends up being like 4 to 5% of my overall in a key, and it has a kind of a positioning requirement where when you end up casting it, it's going to hit your target and then do shadow damage to everything that's like behind your target. So you'll see me like repositioning occasionally to get Codex value. I've also macroed it into my Eviscerate and Black Powder because both of those will proc Deeper Daggers, my one of my potency conduits, which just buffs my shadow damage, and the trinket is just doing shadow damage. So I figure I might as well try to get a little bit of extra dam out of that one. So for this pull, kind of same idea. We're going to be CCing the Mender, and then in this case, I actually end up putting my flag on the Goliath, which I think is the right move. That's going to be doing a lot more priority damage to the Goliath, which is by far the highest HP mob. And then you can see I'm more or less just staying in here, and I've got my focus set on the Castigator, so I can be looking to kick some of these casts that are going off. In particular, the Doctrine cast. That's the main one we want to be stopping, because it does the same amount of... Oh, actually, rather, the Burden of Knowledge. It does like the same amount of damage as the Dark Lash, but it leaves the dot, and it's going to force your healer to dispel, and if too many of those go out, it ends up being very painful. So our Shaman purged the weapon off the Mender, and normally you'll find it on the ground. You can walk over it and you get a nice little buff where your autos will do arcane damage, but it like yeeted off the map. That was really weird. So I actually kind of dislike this boss for a couple of reasons. One is 2-target cleave is not sub's strong suit. There's also like a lot of forced movement, which you basically have to time your sprint and shadow steps to be able to like maximize uptime. Because like right here, I just like give up, and I'm just gonna hit this other boss who's like standing still. I'm gonna hit the like that's like the only way I'm gonna get value. Oh, so here we're coming up into a flag symbols window, and I want to see what I end up doing here. I should be refreshing Slice and Dice. So I should put flag on this boss, and then slice and dice, and then symbols. And okay, so that was pretty good. I don't hate that burst window. I should. Okay, so I got dispelled there. This boss also puts out a magic dot, and that's like one good way to use cloak in this fight is to dispel that. You should be avoiding the barrage as best you can. That's like pretty telegraphed. It's not that hard to dodge. You can use your cloak to live the barrage if like you just know you're gonna get hit for some reason, but saving your cloak to drop the dot is a better use of cloak in this fight. So I've got another flag symbols dance window coming up, and I'm holding my damage for the flag. So let's see what I do. I flag, I rupture, and I dance in symbols. And now we're just trying to bomb finishers into this guy. And I'm trying to maximize my stacks of flag. And so I use Shadow Step to catch up and end up getting one stack of the beam. If you stand in the beam that's between the two bosses, you'll get a really nasty stacking dot. So I actually end up using Cloak in this case to just fully drop my stacks because I don't want my healer to think about me at all. I want them to really just focus on doing dam and keeping the tank alive through the tank buster. And here we're about to just wrap up this boss. So I think the one thing that I'm thinking about now is how I can maximize my damage during flag windows. And what I've been doing is pressing flag and then getting into symbols and dance right away. And I think what I should do is actually press dance and get at least one or two full finishers into whatever it is that I'm fighting. And then at that point, press symbols, because I'll be able to better line up like the max stacks flag buff with symbols in that case. Because right now, like I'm having a lot of my flag buff is without symbols based on the way that I'm doing it now. So I think I can actually do more damage if I line it up in that way. So one trick we ended up pulling here is using Shroud to help our team with this LOS tech. One thing I see a lot of the time is teams will just start hitting the mobs before they're actually over here. So you can like stand in this corner and it breaks LOS with both packs here, and then they'll just run over and stack in this corner, and then your tank can turn a little bit and get the mobs facing their back to the wall. This way when they disengage, they don't go anywhere and they don't hurl at everyone. But like one thing that will happen is someone won't be in the corner all the way, and so the mobs just start hurling, and you can just completely get around that by pressing Shroud there. And if you don't have another use for Shroud in this key, which we don't have any planned skips for now, then that's like a pretty good use of Shroud. So just getting into the basic AoE rotation, flag, full combo point rupture, into Shuriken, Tornado with dance and symbols, and we're just pressing black powder here. I think one thing that I should do actually on this pull in particular is swap to crippling poison. I am running with this this prop pally who has the slow talent for their consecration, but they're okay. So I actually swapped to crippling poison partway through here because I see our pally's he's struggling to stay alive, and part of that is the Praetor. When he's not in melee range of the Praetor is just going to be bombing these Dark Seekers into him, which is going to be doing a lot of shadow damage. I think it's shadow damage. It's definitely magic damage. So that's like really bad in this case where he's also going to be taking a shit ton of physical damage from these cats. So if I can help the tank kite with crippling poison, then I feel like that's value added. There's also that other talent that you can take that will cause mobs to be slowed for some amount of time when you hit them with Shuriken Storm. And in my testing, it looks like that talent and crippling poison do stack. Their effects do stack. And so you have to give up this talent that makes you do more damage to your kidney shot and cheap shot target. And I think that's okay. I don't find myself like switching to hard prio, whatever it is that I'm hitting with kidney shot, and I'm finding it hard to like communicate that with my team as well, that I'm getting like a, you know, high duration kidney on a priority target that they can then like spam damage into. But so I think it might actually be worth it to run that talent in some dungeons. So like specifically in Halls of Atonement, like we're not seeing as many frost mages, and our team doesn't have any frost mage, right? So we're not going to have that permanent slow. And so if I can provide that permanent slow in some of those keys where there's like some big pulls and the tank is going to be taking a lot of damage and is going to need to kite, then I think that's a pretty big value add. So I'm going into this with like everything. Everything except for Shadow Blades will be up right away. Oh, and he's taking long enough that I'll even have Shadow Blades. So I'm just picking a target and I'm getting in. I get flag, rupture, and then press all my buttons. And the main mistake I made here was actually pressing symbols and dance before Shuriken Tornado. Again, the Shuriken Tornado costs, I think it's 50 energy or 60 energy, and then symbols refunds. It's going to give you 40 energy immediately. So you really want to be pressing that after you've spent energy, and then getting your energy back with symbols, in addition to getting the buff. Oh, that was a high value lay on hands from our pally. He was super weak, and just got like literally his full health bar back. That was sick. So one other tip, when these guys are recharging anima, they get a little absorb shield. So you want to be swapping to just prio that Dark Seeker guy when they both have the shield up. There's really no reason to be doing priority damage into a shield. So at this point, I'm looking to just build up some resources for these. I think we just full send on this pack. And I don't have a lot of dam here. I basically the tail end of my flag buff, I had one charge of dance and no symbols, so it was basically just going into this one kind of dry. And I remember being torn here about whether I should be pressing symbols or not, and but then I kind of realized that this dungeon has a lot of forced downtime with the angels, so I might as well press it, because like we're not going to chain into another pull. By the time we land, I'm going to have basically everything back. And I'm actually curious what I do here, because I strongly suspect the double pulls coming after this. We're going to get an and I have everything here except Shadow Blades. So looking at this now, I should press everything and expect for it to all be back when is back, or when we get to the double pull because of the So I really want to die, so I'm hard prioing So I should be pressing flag. I think I missed one black powder in that Shuriken Tornado. And I think it's because I was focused on kicking, and that was a pretty big mistake. I definitely missed one full black powder. But now look at this. I still have buff. I think I should press symbols and dance again. I guess not. No, that mob was like basically dead. We have everything here. We have everything going into this. Our tank is asking, all CDs up? Yeah, all CDs are up. I'm just gonna hard focus the Goliath. I'm in comms with the Warlock and the Enhancement Shaman, and they're gonna hard prio this Inspired guy. So I'm gonna hard prio the Goliath, and we'll see how that works out. So I get a couple of Viscerates in, but then I end up swapping to Black Powder. I see that we're actually not going to kill the Inspired guy in time to kick the Rebellious Fist. So I end up cloaking that, because I had already taken some damage from something. I don't even know what. And I was like super weak. Oh, I get a stack of the lightning, and our shaman got multiple stacks of the lightning. Oh, I used my kick on this. That means that the castigator is gonna get a free cast off. I have kidney shot. Am I gonna use to stop the internal strife? Oh, I don't, and I take the dot. Okay, but our resto shaman's quick on the dispel. Okay, that's good. I stunned this guy because he is just bombing dark seekers into our poor tank, and our tank is really struggling here. So I stunned him so he can just stop doing damage to everyone. That pull worked out, but it was like pretty spicy. I think I should have put my flag on the inspired guy. I think that would have been the play, and just like guarantee that that inspired guy dies. That's definitely an improvement I can make there. Instead of trying to do prio onto the Goliath, getting that inspired guy down is definitely higher priority. I'm trying to figure out what like a good thing I can do with these guys is. I see that he has his little jump ability. I think I was trying to time the stun, and he was just like out of range. Yeah. It feels like I can either like stun him when he's got the his, like, you see his little abilities like off cooldown, but the cast time is so short. I definitely have to hold a global or two around when he's going to cast it so I can be ready to stop it insta. And I think that's going to be most valuable on maybe on the double Goliath pull we did earlier. But I mean, that being said, like, damage is so important there too, and like holding 2 globals in CDs is very bad. We definitely don't want that. He's asking for a CC, and I'm like not really sure. I guess we CC. Oh, he asked for a CC on yellow. I don't know if that's necessary. I mean, like, I'm planning on just like kicking that. Like, I've got it on my focus. It's the only thing that needs to be kicked. And now the big problem is I get no funnel. Like, look at this. I'm in Shuriken Tornado. I'm getting like 2 combo points per Shuriken Storm. So I'm just hard single targeting this guy, and I get no funnel value, and that's definitely kind of problematic. And I have Shadow Blades up, so my Shuriken Storms are getting 4 combo points, but Shadow Blades ends, and the squad leader's not dead yet. And now we've got this friggin' Praetor guy who's just jumping around, doing what he wants. These guys are so annoying. And at this point, we're definitely losing time by not pulling in the other 2 mobs. That was kind of sick, actually. I saw that he was getting his Doctrine cast off, so I end up shadow stepping to him and kicking. I feel like that stuff's like one of my favorite parts about Rogue is you have so much clutch potential, and that's something I like really want to work on is making sure that like I can either pick a mob and just completely own stops on it, or just like continuing to look out for that clutch potential and just finding these opportunities where you can be the guy who's like swooping in with some stop to like save the day. It's that's like really satisfying. Oh, nice. I Arcane Torrent and purged that weapon, and now I have Infused Weapon. I have it for 24 more seconds. I'm going to get full value from that on this boss. That's actually kind of sick. I should be pressing Shuriken Tornado here. I don't know why I'm not pressing Shuriken Tornado. So this is tough. You like with the there and this guy, it's like really difficult to see the bolts. And the guy is like denying area. You see when the boss teleports away, I'm in my Shadow Dance, and instead of like trying to, like, normally what I would do here is just shadow step to the boss. But I have the there, something I can hit. I can get value by hitting that so I just like don't even bother using mobility cooldowns to to keep uptime on the boss. But here I had full combo points, and it was like the end of my flag window. I'm like trying to get a little more dam in here. And right here, my brain lags, and I end up like not dodging that dart. That was a mistake. I think I used health pot and health stone on that, or at least health pot. And using the health pot, it's like not strictly necessary there, because like I wasn't going to take any more damage, but it definitely gives my healer a bit of peace of mind. I made 2 mistakes in this burst window. I actually want to rewind this and watch. So right here, I'm at 11 stacks of flag, and I've got all my maintenance abilities up. I'm in Dance with Symbols and Shadow Blades. Full combo points. And then here I Shadow Strike, and I get full combo points again. I got a Weapon Master proc. I should just be pressing Eviscerate, but I press Shadow Strike again. I don't react in time. The same thing happens there. I get a Weapon Master proc again, and I end up overcapping on combo points twice during that burst window. So I lost a lot of damage there. That's definitely a mistake. But everyone is pumping in this on this boss, and the boss just falls over. So whatever, doesn't matter. Yeah, our Warlock got every single Dark Stride, and Warlocks are super tanky. So like, I guess it doesn't really matter all that much, but yeah, it's kind of funny. What? Oh, so here I'm checking the damage from that infused weapon. It was like 5% of my damage on that fight. So like, if you can get that buff going into that boss, that's an untrivial amount of damage just for, you know, literally pressing your Arcane Torrent and yoinking that weapon. So we're gonna kill Woe here and then take the stealth buff up to the next boss. I think I want to start like skipping this pull. Like, the Hellion is so inefficient to kill. It makes no sense to just spend that much time on the Hellion. I'm like losing globals in my flag here, trying to set up my focus target. That's a huge mistake. You hate to see that. I don't have Slice and Dice up. This is another mistake. Alright, I get that going. That should have been... One thing I should do is, when all the relics are up, I should open with Shadow Strike and then just get into using Shuriken Storms to set up all my maintenance abilities. Like, get Slice and Dice going, get my Rupture going on a priority target. Like, all of these things are super easy to do, and yeah, I should definitely pay more attention to that. I was really worried about our Paladin there because he had Grievous, and I have no idea how Grievous interacts with the Woe Shroud. But I'm just gonna sap this guy just in case there's like a weird fake combat bug around this area of the dungeon, because all of these mobs are like fighting each other, and if you're in proximity to them, they'll end up putting you in combat too temporarily. It's really weird. So I end up always trying to sap that guy just in case, you know, one of my teammates gets put in fake combat when he's running by. It's definitely not ideal. So this is like a little, almost like break pull. I'm just going to be doing AoE here. I'm not even using cooldowns. I use Shadow Dance because I know I'm just going to get a bunch of CDR on these two guys, on these two pulls, but I probably should have also used Symbols there. I've also been working on my weakauras a lot. I've kind of like reconfigured them from how they were before in a couple of ways. One, I've like simplified all of the conditions to like decide when they should be glowing. Initially, I had like kind of complicated logic for determining when something should glow, and I've definitely made those a lot simpler. The other thing that I've done is change the logic around Shadow Dance. And before, I was thinking that I could just press Shadow Dance at any time when I have symbols available, or I can make a guarantee that I'll have a Shadow Dance charge for symbols. And I no longer think that's the case. I think I should be pressing Shadow Dance when I have symbols, and only using a single Shadow Dance charge if it's only symbols, but plan to have 2 dance charges for flag windows. Basically, every minute I'll have a flag symbols overlap, and that's what I want to be trying to like maximize my damage during. On this boss, I'm also really torn about how much time I'm going to have before the burn phase. Like our pally here is like triggering all of these stomps, and so I was holding damage. I was holding a lot of damage actually, and so I'm like in like my full burst window here, and I definitely lost damage by not sending cooldowns a little bit earlier, but it's so hard to predict like what the tank is going to do, or like if they're going to accidentally trigger a stomp. Like if you're triggering stomps, then you get to the burn phase so much faster, and it's like really difficult to predict if like the tank's going to do it intentionally, they're going to do it on accident. Like I just have no idea. I lost a little bit of downtime there. I don't know why I decided to run in that direction. I used sprint and then like took the scenic route to get to the boss, which is kind of dumb. I'm capped on dance charges, so I just send one right away. I don't have feint and I don't have cloak for that, so I just have to eat the full damage. I pressed a random Shuriken Storm. Not sure why I did that. And I see we have 2 million damage and we are like kind of a little ways away from the burn phase. So I actually end up just pressing everything. But I don't press a second dance, and that's a huge mistake. Maybe I'm thinking that we're gonna have a burn phase, so I like half commit to the flag, but like that's dumb. I should have full committed, because now I'm back to 2 dance charges, and I'm just gonna have to press one without... Yeah, I'm just gonna have to press one without any other CDs. And I guess now I've got this, oh, I just did it again. I had a Weapon Master proc and ended up overcapping on combo points. That's like a huge fuck up. I think our pally is sad that we used SLT at the very end of that. That's okay. I probably also would have been getting ready to pop some healing cooldown if I saw our pally was soaking all of that and not paying attention to the boss HP. I'm like pretty pleased with how well this run went in terms of like we end up timing it, and we have like a couple minutes, 2 or 3 minutes to spare at the end, and my overall looks okay, but I'm like, after watching this, I'm noticing like tons of mistakes. Like I've swapped to Weapon Master from pre-med, mostly because I know Weapon Master is going to be my Abyss talent when I get to 4P's set bonus, and so I just want to get used to playing around it now, because pre-med is like super convenient. It makes setting up burst windows like really easy, but it's definitely not optimal in the long term. And so that's kind of what I'm playing around right now, is like, how do I prepare myself to like do as much dam as possible in the long term? And so there's like some learning mistakes that I'm making here, where I'm just like not reacting to my procs in time. What else? I haven't yet started implementing the flag change I talked about earlier, where I'll send flag and dance and get in 1 or 2 finishers to buff up the flag and then press symbols. I've been watching a lot of Ram Fams on Twitch, just as like a way to just like get better at Rogue, and that's like one thing I've noticed him starting to do, or maybe not starting to do, just one thing that he does, and I suspect it's to get max value out of his flag buff, trying to maximize the overlap with flag and with symbols. But oh, that was actually a sick bait. our pally baits the spear over there and actually ends up getting picked and then drops the spear in like a pretty good spot. Yeah, this fight is like kind of tough as melee. It feels way more chill as a caster, where you can just like sit back, you can like have a a bird's eye view of everything. You're like way less constrained in terms of position. Here I'm just like, I want to shadow step to the guy, but there's that crescendo that was just like cruising by. Also, I'm noticing that like my video is lagging right now, and I can't tell if it's like frame drops in the game or just in like playing back the video, but this area of the dungeon is also like super weird when it comes to like performance problems. So I have basically everything going into this. Do I pop potion? I should pop potion here because I have it off cooldown and it's ready to go. And I definitely should be using potion here. All right, I'm actually pretty pleased with how this fighting this mob turned out. I've multiple times now reacted to my weapon master procs successfully. I don't think I did right there, but before that I was doing great. I'm also like, I'm seeing this. Did I already use cloak? I did use cloak. So this is actually a really great use of cloak. Is in oh, this mob sucks so much. Yeah, when you see that you're at really high stacks of that that like menacing aura or whatever it's called, the aura that just does like huge party dam, that's when you want to be pressing cloak. You want to make sure that you're dropping all of your stacks of that, and you're doing it kind of late. You want to get to the point where your healer is like, can just pay attention to everyone else and completely forget about you. One other problem, I didn't use Crimson Vial there. I had a couple of windows where I was outside of cooldowns and had the spare energy, even the spare globals, and I should have been pressing Crimson Vial there. I should be pressing Shuriken Tornado here as well, and I don't know why I don't press Shuriken Tornado. That's kind of bad. Oh, I missed another Weapon Master proc. That's not great. I think I just missed one again. I'm like definitely not used to it. This is like my third or fourth key playing Weapon Master, and I'm like seeing tons of mistakes. This was a mistake too. I just sent symbols and dance when my flag was like about to come off cooldown. I should be holding my cooldowns for that. I guess it's not a huge deal because we kill and that's fine, I guess, but we're also about to phase the boss. Yeah, and I'm like losing tons of flag value. If I had held dance and symbols, then I would have gotten full flag value. Because I would have pressed flag sooner and gotten the full buff duration. But here I am, my flag buff is running out. A decent 28 stacks of flag, and I'm here collecting orbs like an asshole. I'm thinking of pressing cloak here. It might be worth, like, I have 3 stacks. I was doing a pretty good job of avoiding the stuff. But, okay, so I don't press cloak. I do... Do I health pot there? What was that? I health stoned. Okay. I don't hate that health stone. That's, like, helping the healer out a little bit. Oh, here I'm checking the meters. Just trying to see how much damage I'm doing. I pressed Shadow Dance there. And I don't know if that was... I guess I was about to cap on charges, so that's fine. So here is like a good burst window. I should be getting a lot of damage right now. We do an kind of a shit job baiting. And because we don't do a good job of baiting, I don't get max flag stacks. I get 22 stacks of flag. Honestly, this boss is like pretty difficult to like get a lot of uptime on. I use feint. I try to use feint on as many of those detonations as I can. It will save your healer a ton of healing. Like, I don't know if you noticed there, but I took maybe like 20% of my HP and damage, whereas the enhancement shaman took like, yeah, look at that. The enhancement shaman's like almost dying for every one of those, and I'm able to just not take that much damage. Yeah, these intermissions. This is a great spot to be using sprint. Just trying to like collect all those orbs as quickly as you can. I end up using a lot of mobility cooldowns on this fight just to like maintain uptime on the boss. And oh, I used cloak here. Yeah, that was a pretty good cloak. Trying to drop the stacks. Like, there's no other place for me to use it except the detonation. I might as well be trying to drop stacks. And we're just here to clean up this boss. It's like we've got 2.5 minutes left at the end of this, and there's like nothing that can really stop us at this point. So easy in time for the boys. I get a little bit of score. Look at that. I think this is the highest key that I've done so far this season, and it was definitely fun. Like, I'm pretty happy with the result, like I said before. But I'm definitely noticing a lot of mistakes, especially with managing weapon master procs. I can do a much better job of that. And what else? Yeah, managing my symbols in flag. There's a couple things I want to work on there. I think I can maximize the overlap a little bit better by delaying symbols until I have more stacks of flag, just so I spend more time with symbols in high flag stacks. And I made a couple of mistakes with like CC and mob control as well. But that wasn't too bad. I feel like I did an all right job in this key. So yeah, still, I think more things to improve upon than things that I'm doing well. But it was still a fun run, and I hope you enjoyed as well, and I hope you learned something. Just a quick plug, if you enjoy the content, please consider subscribing. More of you are not subscribed. More of my viewers are not subscribed than are subscribed, so definitely consider subscribing if you learned something and enjoyed the content. And let me know in the comments if there's anything you're interested in seeing. I've gotten a couple of awesome suggestions from some people, and so I'm adding those ideas to the backlog of videos, and I'll be making some of those at some point. So yeah, thanks for the time, and good luck out there.